It was just after 10 a.m. on a humid Thursday morning when Maria Santiago arrived at the gate of Terminal B with her infant son tightly swaddled in a soft blue blanket. Her steps were careful, measured, the way every new mother walks when she's balancing exhaustion, nerves, and unconditional love. Her husband had flown out 2 days prior for work, and now it was finally her turn to join him. Maria had saved for over a year for this move. A new life, a better opportunity. The baby, barely 5 months old, stirred quietly in her arms. She adjusted the bottle in his mouth as she made her way toward the check-in counter, grateful to finally feel like the worst was behind her. The airport was crowded, loud, and chaotic, full of summer tourists, connecting flights, and restless business travelers. But Maria didn't mind. She had planned everything: documents in hand, baby carrier secured, diaper bag packed and double-checked. She had even arrived early to avoid complications. All she wanted now was to board the plane and hold her family close again. But fate had something else in store. Across the terminal stood Officer Brad Whitaker, a seasoned but deeply bitter airport security officer with a reputation for making travelers of color feel uncomfortable. He walked with an inflated sense of purpose, his boots thudding across the tiled floor as if to announce his authority with each step. He saw Maria. He saw her brown skin. He saw the way she clutched her baby. He saw vulnerability, and more importantly, he saw a target. Maria didn't notice him at first. She was focused on the check-in screen, swaying gently to calm her baby's soft whimpers. But Officer Whitaker's voice sliced through the air like a siren. "You there! What do you think you're doing?" Heads turned. Conversation stopped. Maria froze, confused. I'm just checking in. My flight is at... I didn't ask for your flight details," he snapped, storming up to her. "What are you carrying in that blanket?" Her face turned white. It's my baby." Whitaker scoffed. "Show me, now." Gasps filled the air. A few people took a step back. Others instinctively pulled out their phones, unsure what they were witnessing but already sensing something wasn't right. Maria slowly unwrapped the blanket to reveal her sleeping child. His tiny fists clenched in sleep, his breath gentle. A visible sign that this was no weapon, no threat, just a child. But Whitaker's face remained unmoved. "Where are you from?" he demanded. I'm from here," she stuttered. "We live in Chicago. My husband—" "Don't give me that. I've seen people like you before. You think you can smuggle whatever you want, claim innocence because you're holding a baby. That won't fly with me." The volume of his voice grew. The baby began to stir, then cry. Maria tried to soothe him, her hands shaking, her eyes darting in every direction. A woman nearby whispered, "Why is he yelling at her?" Another murmured, "That's a baby she's holding." "Is he serious?" The cameras came out, first a few, then a dozen, some live streaming, others filming discreetly. The crowd, once silent, now watched in horror as a young mother holding a baby was berated by a uniformed officer for no clear reason. Still, Whitaker wasn't done. "Is this child even yours?" he barked. "Do you have identification for him?" Maria gasped, clutching the baby tighter. "He's my son! I gave birth to him! Please stop, he's scared!" But Officer Whitaker wouldn't stop. Years of unchecked power had taught him one thing: he could raise his voice, point a finger, make a scene, and no one ever questioned him. Until now. From the crowd, someone shouted, "You're being recorded! Leave her alone!" Another voice added, "She's got a baby, man. What's wrong with you?" And then the final blow. A deep voice from the side, measured but booming with authority, cut through the tension like a blade. "That's enough." Everyone turned. A tall man stepped forward from the crowd, a black suit over a TSA badge, a federal ID badge clipped to his chest. Behind him, a second man held up a tablet with a screen showing a live feed, Whitaker's entire encounter, already streaming across social media, tens of thousands watching. The federal agent walked directly toward Maria and gently positioned himself between her and Whitaker. "Ma'am, are you all right?" he asked softly. She nodded, tears streaming silently down her cheeks, clutching her baby, who was now sobbing. The agent turned to Whitaker. "You just assaulted a mother and traumatized a child, and you did it in front of the entire world." Whitaker's face twisted. "You don't understand. I was doing my job." "No," the agent said, stone cold. "Your job is to protect, not to humiliate, not to terrorize, and as of this moment, you're relieved of duty." The crowd erupted in applause, but this was only the beginning, because within minutes the video went viral, within hours news vans descended, and within days the name Maria Santiago would trend across the globe, not as a victim but as a mother who stood in the face of abuse and changed the conversation forever. The morning after the incident, Maria Santiago sat in her modest apartment just outside Chicago, holding her son close while staring at her phone. Notifications flooded in, thousands upon thousands, videos, messages, interview requests, offers of help. Her name was everywhere. Hashtags like #Justice for Maria, #Protect Mothers, and #End Abuse of Power trended across every major social media platform. What started as a moment of humiliation had now become a global outcry. But inside her living room, Maria wasn't thinking about virality. She was thinking about whether she'd ever feel safe traveling again, about how she'd explain this to her son when he grew older, about the look in Officer Whitaker's eyes, that cold, careless entitlement. She hadn't wanted any of this. She was just a mother trying to fly with her child. Now she was at the center of a movement. Meanwhile, inside the precinct office, Officer Whitaker sat pale and shaken across from his union representative. Gone was his trademark arrogance. His phone had been confiscated, his email locked, his badge suspended. On screen in front of him was the video, his voice distorted by rage, echoing through the airport terminal as he yelled at a woman who posed no threat. And worse, it wasn't the only video. Other clips were surfacing now, older ones. Times he'd harassed black teens, times he'd mocked passengers with accents, times when no one had been recording. Now they were. Across the city, powerful people began to pay attention: civil rights attorneys, federal oversight boards, immigration advocacy groups, even celebrities were weighing in. A famous actor tweeted, "If you're not safe holding a baby at an airport, you're not safe anywhere. Fire that cop." Now the video hit 60 million views in less than 24 hours. Daniel Ingram, a soft-spoken father from Arizona who had once endured something similar, posted a heartfelt video saying, "I was scared to speak out when it happened to me. I wish I'd had the courage Maria had. She changed the game." Stories like his started pouring in by the hundreds: mothers, travelers, elders, all mistreated, all ignored. Maria had become the spark that gave them a voice. A press conference was scheduled outside City Hall. Maria didn't want to go. She didn't want cameras, flashing lights, or to be paraded in front of microphones. But Daniel gently placed his hand on hers and said, "This isn't just for us anymore. You're standing up for people who can't." So she went. Dressed simply, holding her baby in one arm and speaking into a sea of microphones, Maria's voice was clear, strong, and trembling only slightly. "I didn't come here to fight," she began. "I came here to board a flight, to join my husband, to start our new life. I was treated like a criminal for holding my child. I don't want revenge. I want change." Reporters were stunned into silence. No speechwriter had prepared this. No lawyer had approved it. It was raw, human, real, and it resonated. Back at the airport, the fallout was just beginning. A full federal investigation was launched, not just into Officer Whitaker, but into the entire airport police division. Audit teams uncovered years of racial profiling, records of undocumented random checks, and a series of internal complaints that had all been quietly buried. Whitaker wasn't a bad apple. He was the tip of a poison tree. The mayor, under increasing pressure, called an emergency meeting. Protesters filled the city square. Overnight murals appeared on walls downtown, images of Maria holding her child like a shield, surrounded by slogans like "Mothers are not threats" and "Compassion is not optional." A week later, Whitaker was officially charged: civil rights violations, endangerment of a minor, abuse of authority. But that wasn't the real win. The real victory came when dozens of new laws were proposed to protect families from airport profiling, to mandate body cameras for all airport officers, and to establish a national passenger rights commission. Maria, who had once simply wanted to board a flight in peace, was now being asked to testify before Congress, to speak not as a victim but as a mother who had been wronged and had refused to stay silent. She didn't want fame, she didn't want pity. She wanted to ensure no other mother would be yelled at, cornered, or interrogated just for existing. The day she walked into the Capitol building, flanked by attorneys and greeted by senators, reporters shouted questions. "Maria, do you feel safe now? What do you want to say to Officer Whitaker? Are you seeking damages?" She answered none of them. Instead, she carried her baby, chin high, eyes steady, because the fight wasn't over. It had only just begun.